Hey Doomers, it's Friday, bitches. August 26th. Felt like doing a quick vlog before I get my day going. Thank you to all of you for continuing to watch and go with the feelings that I have regarding the collapse of our way of life. It takes a lot out of me sometimes, and I try to variate my content from dissecting news articles like I did the other day to commercials. Some people prefer more candid videos like this. I just have such a wide array of viewership that it's, to get to each and every one of you what you like, just try to admire what I publish. I know most of you do, and I appreciate all the support that you give this channel, because I'm a journalist at heart. I'm documenting what's happening. So what's happening in the world? Let's talk about some events. First and foremost, I think people want to talk about or know about the student debt forgiveness. $10,000 is so. I mean, considering most is okay because most people are like $30,000, $40,000 in debt. School loans wise, sometimes 20 to 30,000 I think is the range. So they're still indentured servants. For the people who have much greater debt than that and the 80, 90, 100,000 range, I'm just truly sorry. Truly sorry that you went to a knowledge factory to learn what you needed to do, to learn critical thinking, even though you can do that all on your own. Speaking of education and social media, Zuckerberg told Rogan that FBI reached out to him to try to limit posts on before the election, and regarding Mar-a-Lago, I believe. Don't quote me. But either way, the government has its little tentacles in every aspect of our society. They know clearly what they're doing is to suppress the people and keep them running around in circles, in a hamster cage, not getting anywhere. I mean, remind you, we did not get out ahead in the inflation. In fact, we got off worse. It's been pretty much to the Great Depression for my generation. For the past 10 years, minimum wage hasn't risen since 2008. And I know I lament on this often. It's just a huge sticking point because when you've been promised so much out of high school, only to be pinned down nearly the whole time is despicable. I want to get into a happier story for a break, but I want to retread some water and just talk about my own feelings regarding climate collapse. I had this chip on my shoulder, I guess you could say, or revenge kind of innuendo ethos, for people, and I still feel that way towards people wearing Trump hats and climate deniers. My gun is loaded, ready for them, okay? Because tens of millions of people are dying in the Horn of Africa. Extreme weather events are destroying lives and people all around the planet. We've known that carbon emissions would cause global heating, warming since the 19th century, like over 120 years, 130, until we even really began to have a discussion on the 70s, and to still be so ignorant and is despicable. I have a neighbor like 2 doors down that told my girlfriend that global warming is stupid, and he's predictably a boomer with a lot of assets, camper van, truck. Looks like he just purchased a new lawnmower, rideable lawnmower for fun. It's despicable. I see boomers driving their lawnmowers all over town, all over the city, these big lawns. It's despicable. I hate to bring up his name, but Jordan Peterson went on this long rant about net zero and how the banks are frauding or corrupting the transition to net zero in this new world order. And in some part I agree with him, that crazy nut, that net zero is a lie and we're heading into oblivion. But meanwhile, we keep supplying weapons to Ukraine. Raytheon in particular had purchased or made a pretty big contract over there. So we're just going to keep the military industrial complex going. And then furthermore, this boomer generation decides, mine, all mine. They decide with heavily vested interests in Texas, Florida, and Virginia to lobby against corporate goals for their environmental goals. They're basically like demanding that these companies companies that are responsible for greenhouse gas emissions to provide documentation showing where their investments are going. Are they actually doing the transition in a amicable and safe way? There is no safe way. Okay, well, the guardrails are off. Where the train has left the station, we're past safe right now. My friend here in town just brought it up recently. The UN Secretary General literally said 2 years ago, now or never. Now or never. 2 years ago. And we just now got this climate package done, signed, which will take time itself to even come into fruition. It's just a pathetic, delayed response from not only the United States, but our counterpart in Canada, UK, the world. We are doing, it's pathetic. But on a happier note, I feel like just changing gears, back to me. I've told a lot of people to get off this channel. I have a strong filter on who I accept, who's morally sound, who checks out, who knows right from wrong, and not like narcissistic little pricks that come to my channel, disagreeable types, subscribe and then they unsubscribe, and I'm more or less grateful. I have some great people here on this channel from all over the world. I want to visit all of you, and I want all of you to come visit me. Perhaps we could meet up, rent an Airbnb. I almost rented an Airbnb on a ranch next month, 14,000 acres for a week, $300 my own room. But then I decided to save money because I really need to build a big a cushion right now. And I was even thinking about visiting Jeff, my name's Jeff, for 2 weeks up in Ohio before it gets too cold. Winters come later here too. It didn't actually start snowing until February or March here. And, I guess a lot of people also want to wonder how I met my girlfriend. I did want to preface by saying after 30, man, it's pretty much fucking hopeless. It's kind of torture seeing all of these young pretty people. Even if you're a woman or a man around here, it's you can't talk to them. You get in line. You're the last on the line, okay? I had my days, too. I certainly did a bit of sleeping around in my 20s. But, by 30, a lot of these women have slept around town with all the bad boys, had multiple children by now, student debt, credit card debt. I have a bit, but I'm not paying it for doom reasons. It's just slim pickings, low opportunities, and especially with being burdened down financially the past 10 years. I mean, it's the worst predicament to find a mate after 30 now. Maybe you had more chances back in the day, but it just, constantly having to explain, because what we've endured, my generation, you're lucky if you came out ahead with a house and a kid, and you've had a massive support system along the way to help you through mental struggles or financial issues. If you haven't, then you're left in the dust. And the older generation just doesn't seem to understand, or they'll cop out into this toxic masculinity, machoism. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Imagine the people in Africa. No, it was way worse. No, man, stop minimizing our fucking issues. I'm comparing it to the history of America. Our generation got left behind. There's books, articles, facts to back this up. Okay? And so I just don't stand for it. If someone's going to be arrogant with me and say and minimize our struggles or say it isn't that bad, I just say, get away from me. You don't fucking understand what it's been the past 10 years. Through the Great Recession, which was awful for our society, for economy. Like I said, slim pickings, destroyed economy, leaves little opportunity to meet a mate anywhere, as if we have any place to safely meet, unless you go to a nightclub or a bar, which is not the greatest place to meet people. But she worked at a Oriental restaurant on this hill, and I actually did a post about her once or twice about our interaction before we actually got acquainted. But this was during the pandemic. I didn't see her face for an entire year. Okay, I interacted with her and I never saw her whole face. I just saw her eyes and mask clearly, and her body, and I was like, well, wouldn't that be nice to get my hands on that? But I didn't know how to approach, and if anything, I was maybe waiting for us to kind of connect in some natural way. It's easy. It's just I should have been oh, you want to go out to dinner or something. But knowing me, I ended up getting her acquainted with climate information and started showing her charts, our first couple interactions before, and my YouTube channel before I finally, she saw my content. She was impressed with the way that I speak, and the manner at which I speak. And then I just said, hey, can we go out, hang out sometime? I think we went out for drinks the first time. And then I invited her out to the gun range and took a video of that. And then before you know it, we made a call. We weren't drunk this entire time. We were very sober and conscious about what we were doing, because going into a new relationship is scary and can be. A lot is on the line. You're very vulnerable, but you got to take the leap of faith, and I did, and it's paid off very well. I'm glad I did. I'm grateful that I initiated contact. She was it was the choice between either her or this other manager at this pizza restaurant who was more my age, probably about 33, 34. But then she invited me to come watch sports there, games, and I was like, you don't understand me. I'm a doomer. No, I didn't say that. I just politely said, I'll consider it. Just a little bit what's happening in the world. It's Friday. I would definitely say some people have noticed that I'm much calmer in my orientation and my content. Well, yeah, it's because one of my basic needs are being met. Without having intimacy in my life, I am a shriveled up, anxious, angry bastard. It's just my basic needs. They need to be met. And it's really hard to feel human and feel connection nowadays. We've all been commodified. Everything is expendable. Oh, you don't like someone? Just unswipe them, go to the next one. No surprise that depression rates are as high as they are, with social media being the way it is. That infidelity and single parents are basically uniformly across the board higher rates than ever. No surprise. This is the system that you run. This is the results that you get. A fragmented, displaced, neurotic, schizophrenic society who's in fast free fall while we try to reduce emissions in half by the end of this decade, because that's going to save us. Fun times, y'all. Fun times in the 2020s, and you are a part of it. With me, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll vary it up. I'll mix it up and do some kind of new content next week. Who knows? The point is to have fun. We have less than 7 years left. What you gonna do? Are you satisfied with your life? You are. It's a pretty good one. If you lived in the first world country, it's not too bad, right? Unless you got a DUI. All right. Talk to you later. Ciao.